On September 23rd, Donald Trump addressed the United Nations General Assembly. He was supposed to speak for 15 minutes, but in true Trump style, he went on for almost an hour. A speech that long usually means history, facts, and vision. But with Trump, it also meant mix-ups and boasting about himself. Remember, he is the same man who confused Armenia with Albania and Azerbaijan with Cambodia. So let's break down the key takeaways from the speech, fact-check them, and see where the true numbers actually stand. Starting with Joe Biden. Trump blamed former President Joe Biden for everything, from global instability to domestic problems and even America's image abroad. He painted his own presidency as a golden age for America and even declared that America is the hottest country in the world right now.
And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America.
Unfortunately for Trump, all the economic indicators point to the fact that Trump has left an extremely healthy economy by the Biden administration in chaos. Most experts say that his tariff policies are currently wrecking the economy. Earlier, he claimed that energy, petrol, and grocery prices are trending downwards and said inflation has been defeated. Fact check, inflation is up 2.7% in July to 2.9% in August. And when job reports did not go his way, Trump even fired the chief of the Bureau of Labor Statistics without evidence of rigged data. Then came foreign conflicts. Trump claimed that he ended 7 wars in 7 months, including the India-Pakistan conflict.
I ended 7 wars, and in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan.
New Delhi has repeatedly said that there was no third-party mediation in the conflict. In Cambodia and Thailand too, peace talks were mainly driven by Malaysian and Chinese negotiators. And in Serbia and Kosovo, no final peace treaty has been signed yet. So while Trump took credit, the facts quite did not match the narrative. On the Russia-Ukraine war, Trump claimed that 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers were dying every single week.
They've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides every single week. From 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people.
The CSIS puts the overall toll since the war began at about 250,000 Russian soldiers and 80,000 Ukrainian soldiers, along with 1,000 civilian deaths in Russia and 14,000 civilian deaths in Ukraine as per the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission. That averages to around 1,800 deaths a week, not 7,000. He also accused India and China of fueling Russian war machine by buying Russian oil.
China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one?
India argues that those purchases are in national interest and help keep global energy prices stable, and it's doing nothing illegal. And here's the kicker. According to the US ITC, America itself continues to import Russian uranium, palladium, and aircraft parts. In fact, those imports have increased since Trump took office. And if buying Russian oil means fueling Russian war machine, what about providing military assistance to Israel while claiming to stop the war in Gaza? On immigration, Trump slammed Biden's so-called open border policy, warning that the other countries are facing the same situation.
Other countries have no choice because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
But during Trump's presidency, hundreds of immigrants, including non-violent ones, were deported to a maximum security facility in El Salvador, driving immense criticism. So neither administration has clean hands here. On Gaza, Trump also called for an immediate end to the war in Gaza and demanded Hamas releases hostages.
As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we?
But it's worth noting that US has vetoed UN resolutions for ceasefire and strongly backed Israel government. Many international experts have even warned that Israel's actions could meet the legal definition of a genocide. Climate change also got a mention here. Trump dismissed it again, calling it the greatest con job ever.
We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate.
Meanwhile, science does not agree with Trump. Scientific evidence says that the Earth is heating up since the Industrial Revolution. He said that renewable energy sources are not powerful enough to handle infrastructure and are unreliable. But according to the International Energy Agency, or IEA, the data is clear. In 2024, 80% of growth in global electricity generation came from renewables and nuclear. Together, they supplied about 40% of the world's electricity. So that's hardly unreliable. And finally, the UN itself. Trump mocked the institution, saying that only things he got from UN were a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. He claimed that he's basically doing the UN's job, saving lives, preventing wars, while accusing UN of just writing strongly worded letters without follow-up.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
And then he says he does not care about Nobel Peace Prize, but keeps asking for it.
Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars.
So, well, given the amount of mistakes in his speech, it was obvious for memers to do their job. But don't blame the 70-year-old president for them because the teleprompter was broken after all. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and like, share and subscribe to ET Now for more such news and views.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.